Good morning, Warren County. I am your host of the show, Kelly Walker Slaughter, and we are live at the home store number 2. I am so excited. We're doing another pop in podcast here in McMinnville. And just like I said at Mud Bums when I was with Brett and them, um, if you want me to come and do a pop in podcast at your shop, your restaurant, it doesn't just have to be downtown. I can go anywhere and everywhere. Just give me a call and let me know so we can set that up. But with that said, we're going to be doing our show live here in the store number 2 for home. And with that, I do have the co-assistant manager here at home. I have Miss Allison with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So again, tell me, like we already know what you do here, but what does a co-assistant manager do? What do you do around here?
Well, I am the co-manager at Shop 2. Basically, I just run the store, taking donations, go through things, decorate the store.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
I love it. And how long have you been helping out home?
I have been with H.O.M.E since the first of the year.
Yeah, volunteering.
Yes.
So what made you decide to do this? Because off air we talked about it, so she better tell you.
Well, I lived a very boring life as a stay-at-home mom.
I get it.
And I was at a volunteer meeting with my mom. I was along for the ride. I wasn't really going to plan on volunteering.
Yeah.
But anyways, the meeting was over and I reached out to Sheila and I was like, hey, if you ever need any help, holler at me. And she did. So
that night, right?
She called and I've just been here ever since.
I love it.
I love it.
And what makes you, like, since you've been here as long as you have since the beginning of January, what keeps you motivated? Like, what is your purpose?
Well, I really enjoy working. I started at the Haven before this whole shop came about, and I really enjoy everything, but working with the women and, getting to know them and, just being there for them.
Trying to make their life a better place.
Yes.
I love it.
Definitely.
And, my only curveball question, and so think about it, since you've been working at the Haven, how many successful stories have you been a part of so far to you?
Quite a few. I mean, we've had lots of women in and out, but there's been, a handful, if not more, of successes, that have moved on and for the better.
Yeah. So, and what are some of the stuff that you can say that you did at the Haven? Because I know, like, working at, the store number 2, it's a little different, So what are some of the hands-on things that you did at the Haven?
Well, at the Haven, I was mainly in the office, like with administrative things and kind of financials, but I was working with the women a little bit as far as like we would go get groceries or just get out and do
something
stuff.
like every day an essential thing to do.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And speaking of, let's go back to the store. So if anybody, because obviously your store is ran on donations.
Yes.
And the whole reason for getting a store number 2 is because store number 1 is so overwhelmed, which is a good thing to have, being overwhelmed.
We are very blessed.
But with that, if anybody is interested in bringing any type of donation, how can they do that? Where, when, how does that work?
So we usually take donations at the Haven, but people have started dropping them off at our shop. But we would prefer at the Haven because it kind of gets a little crazy at the shops. Right. So definitely at the Haven if you want to donate.
Okay. And any specific items y'all are still in need of right now?
I don't, not that I can think of. We'll take anything.
Because, looking through the store right now, I see beautiful tables. Guys, if you're not following them on social media, you need to, because I know Miss Sheila's posting them. But they have women's clothing, men's clothing, and then they also have as well Halloween outfits, right?
Yes. So, and we are going to do free Halloween costumes. We have a bin, so
dig through them, check it out, see if it's something. If you're looking for a last minute Halloween costume on a budget, you need to come and check that out while you're here. Yes. And then when you get your free Halloween costume, look at everything else at the store. I love it. Is there anything else that I haven't asked that you might want to like to mention?
Oh, our new shop is around the corner on the plaza.
Okay.
from Bargain World. Maybe we could just, because we're kind of hidden.
Yeah.
Where it's by Merle Norman, and I'm trying to look and see.
It's 115. It's Sweet 115. So if you count with the numbers like I did, because I almost got lost, I'm not going to lie, and you're counting and you pass the original Stewart's Pharmacy, which is now Bargain World, you just take the turn, as I've been saying, turn that corner, and you will see it straight dead ahead. You can't miss it.
By the karate stairs.
Yeah, by the karate stairs. Well, I know you're a busy girl and you got to get some stuff ready before the shop opens at 10, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then before I do let you go, what is the operating hours through the week here?
We're closed on Monday, Sunday and Monday, but we're 10 to 5 the rest of the week.
10 to 5. Okay, that's really awesome. Thank you. Well, you can go do your work. We're done with you.
Okay.
I'm just going to show this because it's here before Miss Sheila gets here. I was like, how in the heck did y'all get an album by Morgan Wallen now? So I know this has to work, but if you have a huge Morgan Wallen fan, which I think I know somebody that would like this, Eli, Jackie, if you're watching, there you go. All right, Miss Sheila, come on. Now, she is the El Capitan. She is, yeah, you are. You're the reason that, this is like big part of the reason that home is where it is today. And I'm going to toot your horn all day about it. But this is Miss Sheila Fan. She is the director. Tell everybody your official title. That's what I want to know.
I'm executive director.
Executive director. Mm-hmm. And with that said, talk about first and foremost, how did home get all started? Like how many years has home been?
5.
5 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
why? Amazing.
How did it get started and why?
Well, actually, it started before me.
Okay.
Tina Higgins and her husband was out feeding, and they were going to the woods once a week. They had hooked up with Bill Davis, and he had already been working with the homeless through the police department for years. And so then it was, this is nothing but God. It couldn't have been me or Tina or Bill or Connie or anybody. This is totally the Lord. Nobody could have pulled this off.
Oh, yeah.
And other than him. And so anyway, the church, I'll tell you this, I'll try to give the 5-cent version.
It's okay if you give me the details. Go forth.
I walked into church and there was for me, my part was a sign-up sheet to go work under Jefferson Street Bridge on Christmas Eve, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And something in me leapt when I saw it. And I just signed my name and walked outside and called my daughter. And I said, hey, we got to rearrange Christmas. And she said, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Nashville. And I said, I'm going to work under the bridge. And so I went, and my life has never been the same since that night.
Yeah.
And so I could barely sleep. And I asked around. I finally found out Tina was. Me and Tina met. We had dinner. We started in our car. We met with Bill, Adam Rush. We formed the board. We were going out in the trunks of our cars twice a week.
Yeah.
I remember our first deposit when we put it in the bank.
Yeah.
Started. It was just it's surreal now.
Yeah. So. And it's just ever so growing. It's getting big. I feel like bigger and bigger each year. I mean, especially with the store. I mean, kudos to you guys. I mean, the store number one, getting it together like you did with all your volunteers. And then Nancy, all of a sudden, Carol, not even
amazing.
Not even Kathy what, Roberts. Can you 3-4 months, you got a second store. And I'm just like, holy crap, good for you guys.
Well, it came, there's some quote, I can't remember it. It's like something comes from necessity. Mm-hmm. Well, with Shop One, it was, we felt like it was ordained.
Yeah.
Nancy, Connie, Carol, Kathy Roberts, and then their host of volunteers. They're just rock stars. Yeah. But there wasn't really room for furniture. And so the
space wasn't built for that.
So we were looking around. Also, when women come to the Haven, they come and they don't have any money, clearly. And then it takes a minute to get a job. What we're hoping with this shop is that we're going to get it off the ground and we're going to have work for them to come and do immediately.
Okay.
And that they can
earn at least a little pocket money.
Yeah.
And while they're looking for a job.
And learn how, like, reestablish
Yes.
how to live, how
Yes.
how to live.
Yeah.
Get back to the norm.
Mm-hmm.
Or a new norm, I
Yes.
guess it would be
Yeah.
for them.
So we're really hopeful that
Yeah.
that is where this shop is going to go.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like you also said, it's just not also helping out the home folks, but also community people.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes. Because I mean, Allison is a member of the, and of course she was with Home.
Yeah.
Prior to that. So
Yeah. And then, we always, me and Miss Sheila talk all the time. And one of the talks, give a roundabout number. How many people you help out?
Well,
On a
hundreds, I guess, into the, well over 1,000 since inception.
Yeah.
Yeah. But since I ran some numbers last night, and it looks like since January, approximate numbers is about 250 to 260 adults,
Okay.
and then about 53 children, 58 children.
There are some children.
Yeah, in fact, I think it was July. In July,
Mhm.
we had at one point, this went on for about 2 or 3 weeks. It was brutal. We had 13 children sheltered in the motel.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like our fourth division that we don't, people don't see and hear a lot about.
That's
because,
correct. I was going to say, you don't see, I honestly, when living in McMinnville as long as I have, you don't see a lot of homeless people walking around a lot. It's very like few and far between.
And we have a hotline that they call.
Mhm.
That's how, I mean, when somebody finds out about us,
Yeah.
we have a hotline. I'm so sorry. Excuse me.
It's okay. Things happen.
Well, it did.
Yeah.
And those ladies are rock stars.
Yeah.
They man those phones. They give up their time. Brandy Curse, Amanda, can I say their names?
Yes, you may.
Brandy Curse, Amanda Palmer, Shayna Bell, Wivana Rutledge, Alma Shoemake, and Jessica Reed. And then Yvonne McGinnis helps me with that. So it's, and along with Connie, of course, as a rock star. But they all give of their time to answer those phones and be there. Yeah. And so anyway.
You're blessed.
Yes, we are. But that division, back to that, is that we have what is called emergency shelter.
I was going to ask you, so how can you do that? Because, you are a nonprofit 501c3, correct? And, because I know working with families in crisis, if they can't take care of a family in need because of a domestic situation, there's funds to house, there's grants that you can put them up in hotels and stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We do a lot of fundraising. Of course, we have the shops, and we have a little money that was we have some money that was given to us from the city this year. In the past, we've got some from the county, but the city was very gracious. We are first called to 911, both city and county.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they find someone homeless on the street,
you're the first call.
Okay. Yeah, and that's day or night.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Yeah, 24/7. And so, and then we do everything we can. Can we help everyone? No, we can't.
Yeah,
but
you try.
We do as much as we can for as many as we can.
Yeah, in any situations, I mean, you're also working with people that are connected to the county as well. If you can't help, you try to find other means for these folks, right?
Absolutely.
You just don't leave them with nothing.
Oh, never. That's one thing we say for the people on the phones, for us, all of us, we never want to leave someone without hope.
Right.
If we can't, let's try to find an option. And speaking of that, for options and who we help, what we help, our goal for Shop One is, one, to fund our mission, but two is a men's shelter. Because speaking of leaving without hope, for every one woman that we help, we turn 4 to 5 men to Cookville.
Okay.
And that is no exaggeration.
Yeah.
And and I know I could tell recently our our volunteers that were manning the phones and stuff, everybody was getting a little disheartened because we were having to turn so many men out of town.
So the goal is, if I'm thinking, just asking a side question. So your goal in the next, however long it may be, in the next 5 years, you're hoping to have a successful men's shelter running at this point. Mm-hmm. And what does it take to run a successful shelter?
Strong leadership, volunteers, good guidelines, and that the shelter form may be another building at Prosperity Point, because that was a huge community effort. It still is. We stay pretty well full, and we saw great success rates out of it.
Speaking, so you already have homes set up at different locations. So one's called the Haven. We've mentioned
that's our women and children,
and then Prosperity Point is what?
Prosperity Point is our transitional community.
Okay,
and that was the vision of Tina, Bill, Adam Rush, and myself when we very first started, and God provided. So we have that, and they are able to stay there for up to 6 months, work. We help them with their bank accounts.
You get them set up,
yeah.
For starting their new life.
We if transportation's needed, we try to assist in getting that set up. Sometimes we do it ourselves until we can get things off the ground for them. But yeah, Prosperity Point, it was a huge community effort, and it's been a great success.
I love it. And before I move on to my next question, to just finish this up, is there anything that the community can do, whether it's volunteer-based, business-based, whatever, that can help with this transitioning?
Well, there's always volunteer work at the shops, but the showers on Saturday, on Saturdays, through the goodness of First United Methodist Church, and their volunteers as well. We do a donation room, and people that are what we call habitually homeless, are able to come in, take a shower, get clean clothes.
Oh, and then they wash their clothes and stuff, right?
Well, occasionally, normally, sometimes Jimmy will do that, but we provide a clean suit of clothes. In fact, I did a rough estimation for in a year's time. Yes, we have the 2 shops, but we keep stock for our people. Always. We keep stock. And we gave approximately 1,000 pieces of women's clothing away in a year's time. And that's a minimum. That's minimum.
Oh, that's just a small number.
And that's just the women.
Oh, gosh.
So
that's not even talking about the kids you've helped and the men.
Yeah. So
wow.
So what the people that are giving, and then what we sell goes straight back into the mission. So people don't realize just what they're doing.
Yeah. Because one thing I've seen a lot of businesses, and I'm just going to put it out there, that I've seen when I did some research on transitional housing for the homeless, businesses are now putting like showers in like a side room for people that are homeless. So when they come to work, they can take a shower and they have a clean uniform.
Awesome?
And then they go work, and then they go back, where their home is, wherever that may be. And then they just come back the next day, and then they help, that's what I see a lot of other communities are doing. And I think that would be, I'm just going to say it because this is my show. I think the next step for Warren County is something like that, where maybe a church could open up, because, for example, if a downtown business would like to do a program, because we have all these programs for other cultures and other, ethnicities that, can get these benefits, why not everybody else?
Right.
And so I think, I don't know what it would be called, but I think that is something that needs to be looked at. Well, and then if you are a business that's in need of workers, there's plenty of people wanting to work. You just have to give them the tools to inspire them, to give them that chutzpah, as I have been told this week, to do that. And I think that would just be this super cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And then what they do is, after they get done at work, they take their clothes, they change back in their regular clothes, and that owner just rewashes the clothes and it just fizzles out.
That's awesome. And, sometimes with the job market, I'd say that's a win-win.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then they get their check, they can, and then when that works and everybody sees the change in it, then the banks started helping set up their bank accounts and all that other stuff. It's just a thing. So that's my thing on that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. I'm hoping that comes this way because a lot of people, and I'll just say it, they and this goes in transition into my next question to you. People are always like, why do we help the homeless out? We're always handing out this. We're handing, yeah, you know what I'm getting at, handing out this, handing out that. Like I'm sick and tired of seeing these people do nothing, and we're giving them all this stuff. And I'm like thinking, do you even know what Home does for the homeless? And they're like, no, they just go out and give meals and they do, they give them clothes and they open up showers down here. And, and I don't see what are they doing? They're just asking for more people to come down to McMinnville. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. This is what I hear. Yeah. But your program does not give out handouts. You do hand ups. So explain that.
Well, when people are at the Haven or Prosperity Point, goals are set.
Yes.
If there are people who cannot work, largely a lot of our older women,
the elderly,
yeah, and there's a good portion of those that live in their cars. We've had numerous women, especially the women. I don't know what it is different about the women, but probably because we're able to really bring them in and get to know them.
Yeah.
But so if they're even the women, okay, it's like they fill out the applications, you do the deal. We just recently had one night, lady, Nancy McNeil, was instrumental in
love Miss McNeil.
I know, was instrumental in helping her get bridge the gap, getting her applications. I mean, she dug in and didn't let go.
Yeah.
And this lady was living in 30-degree temperature in a gazebo in a pavilion area.
Wow.
And she's about that big. And I didn't know how she was withstanding the temperatures. But anyway, so she's in her own home and all that's good. But how did we get here? Where was we at?
I wanted to know, how do you do the hand ups? Like the programs.
So
you said you set up the goals.
Yes, by and large, they have their goals. They have to work towards their goals because we're not just here to hang out. We all work very, very hard. And so they have to contribute volunteer hours. Because think about it, if you're at home, how much time do you get to sit around?
Not one.
I mean, really?
I have a 2-year-old and a 10-year-old. It looks like a Hurricane Helene every day. And I mean that in the nicest way. I mean, I'm lucky my power's running. Okay. But go on. Yes.
Oh, me. But, it's true. So we believe everybody has to contribute. Everybody has to contribute because it's a part. That was
you
one
gotta
of the
get
things
back to
Tina
the community.
and I talked about way early on. We want them to have a sense of community, and you know what? We see it. We see it happen. We see their relationships.
The program works. Yeah,
and then we see them get ready to move on, and we can see how they looked when they walked through that door, and how they look when they leave. And it's for many times it's pretty amazing.
And like we've talked about, you set them up in this program, which consists of getting a bed at night, getting meals, getting the food, setting up to become a worker bee like we all do. You help them, like, not just getting a job? Do you also help them with bank accounts, finding a home, finding a car? And then something we talked about off air, like, you also help them if some of these people might be living in debt, and that's why they are homeless.
Yes, and
you get them before they move out or move on in the program. That's part of them, is getting out of debt.
Yes, and we've watched many do that, and then buy a vehicle and then get a house because I mean, they're able to do that. And I mean, I'm sorry, I hope this is not a shameless plug, but it probably is. But Security Federal works.
No,
they do it for us, and they are amazing. And they deal.
I'll say this: I will say this: all our banks, when we need help, they do it. And Security Federal is one of the many banks that we are blessed to have in this community.
And they all are. But I just know that that one works with us. But anyway, yes, that is that is what we do with them. And okay, you got a budget, you got to think
Yeah,
about
I was
you
going to
have to
say
pay this, you have
you
to
do
work
everything
this
with them.
out.
You put them on a budget and all. I mean, I think
We
it's
try our
great.
best.
Yeah. And if something doesn't work out for one, you try to find them another program that may work for them.
Yes, and it may be sending them to rehab.
Oh, okay.
If addiction's an issue, there's been numerous
Yeah.
cases where they
And addiction, before she says it, it's not just drug related. It's everything. It's again, I think that with most illnesses, there's a mental issue first and foremost.
yes,
And in order to move on, you have to get past the mental.
yeah,
Or at least deal with it or own it. That's
Yeah.
what I always say. Like, for example, if you're an introvert, own it. I'm not looking at anybody in particularly. Or if you're an extrovert like me and my son are, we own it. You either like it or you don't. But I think it's really great what you guys are doing, and that's why I wanted to come here and do my podcast with you guys and spend a lot of time with you on it. But again, if anybody has any questions that's watching this show, and again, thank you for all the 10 people that are watching us. Love it. But if anybody's watching this, Sheila, and they want to, get in touch with you or be a part of the program or be a part of the positive movement that you're doing, how can they get in touch with you?
They can call 668-0702.
Okay.
That's our hotline. And if they were to not get someone, 'cause it's all volunteer, sometimes they'll have a doctor's appointment, or they might be, they just may have a personal call.
They're just like us. We're anywhere and
Yes,
everywhere
yes.
on a dime.
And
Yeah,
so
I get it.
we'll get back with them if that were to be the case. Normally, that's not.
Yeah.
But there is one thing.
Yeah, I forgot one question.
No, it's okay.
Is it about how many people in McMinnville?
No.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So my big thing with Sheila is they do help a lot of people out in our community, but some of them are not from Warren County or McMinnville. These are people that, when I'm going to say it, that I know of, that I've seen people when Bonnaroo hits town, or we get. I've heard a hearsay on this one. Some people that come to see how Ish is all about.
Yes, that's true.
There's a lot of people that come, for certain aspects of the what we offer here in our community and our surrounding counties, and then they kind of get stranded here. And so, how many people from McMinnville do you guys help?
It's well, we help everyone, but anyone that's eligible for like long term, like Prosperity Point, long term at the Haven, etc. It They have to be here 6 months and have
live here.
Yes,
Okay.
they have to be like a resident. And but for instance, if somebody's not from here, a lot of times we try to help them maybe with a bus ticket to get back home.
Start where the roots are.
Yeah, we do quite a bit of that.
Yeah.
And I will say we do an intensive intake, and about 84%. Our numbers always run 80, 82, 85% every time I look at them, of the number of people that we work with that are either from here or have a long-term tie here.
Yeah.
And so that's
So it's a
always our
majority.
numbers.
It's always a majority.
Always.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else I haven't asked you before I let our next guest come on?
Super quick.
Yeah.
Emergency shelter. Wintertime's coming.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So we are meeting. First United Methodist Church is they're just an amazing group. We did our emergency shelter rooms last year. We will do those again this year, but as in last year, we're going to work with them. We're going to use their outreach, the Haven. We're working with Open Table Nashville. They're coming in on November 9th. Yeah, we're really excited about that. And we're going to glean from their expertise on a lot of the things.
It's always good to learn and grow.
Yes.
And I always say, you're never going to learn sitting in stagnant water.
Right. And if anybody would like to come to that, it's going to be in the Outreach Building at First United Methodist Church, November 9th. They're going to talk to us about what they do. And like I said, we're going to glean from their expertise. There's several other churches that have come forward and they're wanting to partner. So we're hoping we'll have our firm plan to come back to the media with by the end of the second week in November.
I love it.
And we'll get back to you as soon as we have information.
Please let me know.
Thank
and
you.
I can't wait. And of course, Miss Sheila is a part of Warren First 931. She was the start. She's always. And so without her, I want everybody to know the newsletter wouldn't be what it is today.
Oh.
Yes. All right. Hey, you're welcome. So with that said, it is early voting time. And if you have not early voted like this girl did yesterday, which by the way, I want to applaud everybody that has gone out to vote for the past 2 days and waited in the line for 30 to 35 minutes to vote. They have said, and I think Brian's going to tell more about it, but I was talking to Miss Dale and Miss oh, I just lost her name for 2 seconds. Get on here, buddy. Susie, thank you. I was gonna call her Sally, and I don't know why. But Miss Susie and them yesterday, and they said every day has been jam packed with lines. And I'll say this again because yesterday when I was in the line, one of my friends was coming out. I'm not gonna say his name. And he was like, "Yeah, y'all should get here at 7 a.m. That's when they open." I'll go, "No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't." I said, "That's Nashville. That's Nashville hours." And I said, "No, they open up at 8, 8, 8, 8." But on Mondays is their special day. So if you are work those night shifts or that weird swapping hours, every Monday on early voting, it's from 11 a.m. I believe. Oh, he's gonna get it for me.
This is for you, Kelly.
Oh, he got me a copy. See, this is why I love Brian. He brings me stuff. Informative stuff. But on Mondays it is from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And of course that's going to be for this past Monday and this coming Monday, right? And then of course this week, if you want to early vote, you have to go to the administrative building with Susie and them where you get your car tax at the bottom. But thank you for coming on this show again.
Well, thank you for having me. And
I joke that you're a regular, but you know, you really are one of my best regulars.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be able to talk about McMinnville. And look, here we are at home in the Plaza Shopping Center. And quick story. My family owned an establishment right next door to this.
I know you did. That's why I wanted you to come.
Well, thank you. This is a blast from the past. And I already see things that I'm going to try to purchase before anybody else gets an opportunity.
That's correct.
Miss Sheila has done a wonderful job. And guys, please come down here and support. You just don't know what you're doing for our community when you come and support groups like H.O.M.E. I want to thank Miss Nancy and Miss Carol
and Miss Connie and all
of them for what they do. But this is great, and I think I'm walking out with a picture before I leave today.
Is that the one you were looking at?
Well, it reminds me. My grandmother had something like that in her bathroom.
Okay.
So, is that a Dorothy Jo Stewart?
This is the man that knows everything. I love it.
Well,
you should just come volunteer. Be like, check out this Dorothy something Stewart.
Oh.
It is an 18th century piece. You could be the Vanna White of the home store.
Oh, well, that's pushing it. But no, what you guys do for the community, it's so great. And okay, so this all interconnects.
Yeah.
Community, government, people, churches, we all play a part. And so whenever you can come in here and support local businesses, and that was one thing that my grandfather really pushed. We're thankful for the Duggans for allowing us to hold their business here for such a long time. And so when we're able to come and support our community, we keep dollars in the community. And that is true. It's very important because we've got an alderman race coming up. And that's another thing we need to talk about. The Southern Standard with Mr. Zekman and the radio station hosted an event this Monday.
They did.
And that was really good.
Very insightful.
And so if you live in the city, unfortunately, I don't live in the city.
I don't either.
But if you live in the city, you need to make sure to vote for people who are running for aldermen that have the community's interest at heart.
I was going to say the best interest at heart for sure. And that is going on right now.
Right now, people can go and vote today. And I would encourage you, because as you just reported, and from Susie Davenport's office, and from all from the poll workers and anybody who's witnessed what's going on, there's generally been a line. All day. A 20-minute wait. That's very interesting.
30 minutes was my wait.
Was that what you're waiting? So yeah, you can't just slide in and slide out. That's how important this
and that makes me happy when I see that. I'm being honest. When I go, oh, there's a line. I felt like really like a giddy schoolgirl. And then they were like, this far, and it's so funny when you get there. They're like, this is the line mark where it's the 20-minute mark. And I'm like, oh, so I'm at the 30, and they're like, yeah. So, and again, seeing as all these people show up and show how prideful they are about their voting, because I've said this and I'll say it again. If we don't use this privilege, I would be afraid one day we could lose it. And I don't want to.
Yes, we can.
And so with that said, early voting's going on all week long, and that's going on between now and the 31st. But for this week, it's at the administrative building.
Yes.
And that's going to be from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock from now till Friday. And then Saturday is from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yes.
And then next week, the 2 more locations open up, right?
Yes, ma'am. So the Morrison building and the Centertown CIC, they'll open up, and you can start on Friday, October 25th.
Oh, nice.
And so that it's
this Friday.
Yes. So we just keep pushing along, don't
we? We do. And I hope, my goal is, because I was telling off air when I was on the phone with Brian yesterday, I was just so upset with the low turnout of the general election this year. We had, and I'm going to just do a general number in my head, we have over or close to over 40,000 people in population that live here, and that includes the kids and everything as well. But there's over 27,000 registered voters out of that. And now, again, which is, to me, it's still not bad because I think of the kids. But out of that 27,000 on back in was it July or August was for the general election or the primary election, there was only 18% that showed up. And that broke my heart. I just was like, yeah,
And we had some pretty key races going on.
We did.
August 1st voting, which our school board. Oh man, school board was a big issue, and it hits close to home because our school system is our greatest tax expenditure here in Warren County.
It is.
So we've got to make sure that we have the right
representations. Yes. I agree 100%. And if you don't like like right now, if you have not voted yet, if you don't like how the country or the community is being represented right now, this is your time to change that. So voting for that person, even if you think, oh, it's just one vote can make a world of difference. And speaking of the primary with the student board, or the school board, I keep saying the wrong word. That's why you're here.
Oh, no.
There was only between Zeckman and Jarvis 14 or 20 something votes.
Yeah.
That's close.
Very, very close.
Very scary.
So with our alderman races, when you have lower numbers like that, every vote counts. So make sure that you go back, and this should be online. The Standard and Ben Lomond both reported it. So if you want to go see it, but hopefully we can have some of the candidates come in and talk about what they're what they bring to the table. I was really impressed with one of our own, Stacey Harvey, with talking numbers and talking about the sizes of actual lot spaces, and it was something that I'd never thought of. Of course, this is the caveat. I do not live in the city, so but I was still there, and I was interested, and it was good because we need to know about things like tourism. We need to know where the tourism dollars are. To my understanding, McMinnville doesn't have a tourism tax, so there's no way to really look at and get an accurate accounting for how much tourism dollars are actually coming into Warren County.
And speaking of that, talking about piggybacking, they're actually looking for a tourism and marketing manager right now for that position to take over of what the entire tourism board did.
Well, Kelly, you might be the person.
I've talked to Nolan a little bit. I have. I've looked into it.
Awesome. Well, hey, look, let's start a campaign right now.
No.
No, Kelly's
I
got a lot on her plate for
I
sure.
do have a lot on my plate, and I'm like, I don't want to give up my baby.
Understandable.
But with that said, it's like we're talking about, voting is important, and that's why I have people like Brian Carr to come in here and Miss Dell when she can. But of course, Miss Dell couldn't be here today because she is actually helping with the elections commission stuff, because there's people that volunteer that do that stuff. It's crazy how many volunteers there are, but I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Well, it's great to be part and plugged into the community. Not everybody's gifted in the same way.
Yeah.
So, and we need people to run these things. And Miss Dale is a person of integrity.
I love
and
her.
So having people with integrity that you trust, and between Susie Davenport's office and the volunteers and the people that I've met just joining on this year, it's been a blessing to know that we're so fortunate to have such great people that run our election system.
Yeah, and they said, just say thanks to Miss Paula Turner to say go vote. And then Mary Cheryl Roller said, great show, proud of you. Yes, vote while we still can, especially women. Let's go. Okay. And then Sheila, they said, God bless you. I love it. I love it. But in case you want to know, of course, I always go to this. If you have not downloaded this app, which is an amazing app to have, it's called Go Vote 10. Okay. And you can sign up whether you're a registered voter or not. And of course, I always say this: if your birthday is coming up and you miss the registration deadline to vote in this one, you can register right now, kids, on your phone, and it gives you a sample ballot. It tells you your polling location, all that and more. And so right now, the general election sample ballot states, and this is going to be, of course, the big election. The final time to vote will be on Tuesday, November the 5th, and that is when you got to go to your precinct. And if you don't know what your precinct is, it'll tell you in this app.
Yes.
You can also call Susie Davenport's office at the Election Commission's office. They'll let you know as well. But going off that, right now up for the United States president, of course, we got Donald Trump and Vance. We got Kamala Harris and is it Waltz?
Tim Waltz.
Tim Waltz, okay. And then they also have Jay Bowman and Bowman and Bowman. Sorry, I see that on there, right? And then I know my phone's cracked. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Claudia De La Cruz, and we have Karina Garcia. We have Raquel Fruit and Dennis Richter. And then we also have, of course, Robert F. Kennedy, but he has, correct me if I'm wrong, he dropped out.
He has dropped out, but in some states he's still on the ballot.
Okay, I remember before this ever happened, there was a petition to take him off.
Yes.
So there's no confusion.
Yes.
But if you're listening to this, Robert F. Kennedy and Nicole Shanahan, they are not on the ballot anymore.
And they are endorsing.
They're endorsing Trump, correct?
Trump, yes.
Okay. And then, of course, they are, because they're on the Republican ballot. And then Jill Stein.
Yes.
And I'm not even going to try that. LeBay, yeah.
Samson LeBeau.
This one?
Oh,
the K name. Samson LeBeau, but he's got another last name, which we're not going to pronounce. And then, of course, the United States Senate, we got Marsha Blackburn, Gloria Johnson, Tyrone Chandler, Pamela Moses, and Hastine. You guys.
Is that Hastina?
That's what I was thinking. Hastina Robinson. United States House of Representative for District 4, Scott Desjardins, Victoria Broderick, Ernest.
Now, may I stop you right there?
Yes.
Victoria Broderick actually came to Monday night and
right.
spoke, and I was very impressed with just her gumption and effort with coming down.
In her demeanor, I loved it.
She did a very.
She was very
job.
well spoken.
Now, of course, she wasn't speaking against anybody. So
no, obviously not. Yeah. And then Ernest Inslee, I'm going to say, and Keith Nolan, they're the independents on there. Tennessee Senate District 16 is Janice Bolin. That's the Republican vote. Wayne Steele is the Democrat, and Scott Bean is the Independent.
Now, Scott Bean also showed up.
He's come to a few of the events here in Warren County.
Yes.
A very nice man, very well spoken as well. Again, new. I think I want to say a little new, a little green behind the ears. I feel like, but he knows his counties and his community, which I really enjoyed. Tennessee House of Representative District 43, which of course the only one on the ballot is Paul Sherrill. And I will say this because a lot of people asked me yesterday as I was walking, they were like, "Oh, I can't wait to vote for so and so and so and so." And this was actually on the District 43 portion, and I was like, "No, there's only one person on there." What do you mean? I said, "Did you not go to the primary?"
Yeah.
And I mean, again, educate yourself as best as you can. If somebody tells you, because they said that somebody told them that everybody was going to be on the ballot for this general federal election, and I said, no, when it came to the district, and you can correct me, when it came to the House of Representatives for District 43, there was 3 people on the ballot for the primary. It was Robert McCormick, Tim Lewis, and, of course, Mr. Paul Sherrill. He was the incumbent. And that was the time to vote who you wanted to move on. And then, so whoever you voted moved on. And so, fortunately enough for Paul Sherrill at this point, he's got no one running against him.
That was the thing about that primary. It was highly contested, and with Tim Lewis being in that race, he took about 500 votes. Well, that would have made the difference between if those 500 would have went to Mr. McCormick.
Yeah,
that would have been a very, very
huge
tight
difference.
race.
Yes.
So, being involved in politics, knowing what's going on, and especially in the primary season, that's where they pick the best people. And one of the problems that this state has had, because we have open primaries, people have gone back and forth voting, and sometimes, and this is, to me, this shows a lack of integrity, because this is not necessarily the way the system is supposed to work. But people changing party affiliations and trying to vote the weaker candidate, and you've seen that in the past. And one of the remedies to that is to form caucuses, and that's one of the things that has been a heated debate. Now, look, I'm not going to say that I'm for it or against it, but I see why people do it, and that's why
you see why people like it, and you see why you see it on both sides.
Well, yeah, well, here in elections here in Warren County, people have that have run on Democratic platforms have been in Republican primaries voting, and they're allowed to. You can change your affiliation. There's nothing.
We've had that several times here in the Warren County community. People changing.
But when you're trying to vote the weaker candidate in, so your candidate can come and slaughter them in the general election, that's not really.
And since it's my show, I don't care to say. And deciding to run as an independent, just to you know, when you know that there are certain, you know, you know who they are, and I'm like, okay, come on.
So we want to have a platform for integrity, and so that's really where a lot of this confrontation stems from, especially here locally here in the last few months. And now I think we're past that.
We are. I haven't seen any heated debate, really anything get too ugly, you know?
No. And from the conservative side, I think County Executive Bell is doing a great job. He's doing a wonderful job. Actually, we're really excited about a representation. We like what Janice Bolin has done. She proposed a great bill on nullification, which when you see a lot of federal overreach coming in, it protects Tennessee, because there's a lot of things that I'm just being exposed to. One in particular is called the doctrine of the lesser magistrate. And a lot of times people are worried about the federal government being tyrannical and coming in. Well, who's going to protect you? I'll tell you, one of the blessings that we have is we have a great sheriff in Jackie Matheny.
We do.
And so he
was raised by a great man that used to be our sheriff, Jackie Matheny Sr.
He's got it in his blood.
It's in the blood. I love it. And I can't wait to see if his kids do the same.
So we're very fortunate to have a good county mayor
Mhm.
and a good sheriff, because these are the people that enact the local laws that we abide by,
Yeah.
and they're also the ones who are supposed to keep out federal overreach and
That's right.
things like that from going. Because if our government does become tyrannical, and that's what a lot of people are worried about, what if California gets more votes in the sense that with these
Oh,
population with
okay. Because I was going to
immigration?
ask you what that word you just said means.
Oh,
I don't. I can't even say it.
well, the doctrine of the lesser magistrate is a platform for the smaller counties.
Okay.
For there's they have a great platform for rule, so to speak,
Okay.
or governance. That's
Okay.
a better word for it. So look, we've got to get good people in office, and that's why our local elections are so important, because these are the people that are actually supposed to protect us from
Yeah.
if our government becomes tyrannical, if they impose things that that go against the state of Tennessee's constitution. We have to be able to have those type of people who are knowledgeable and understand
Yeah.
that their job is to also protect us from the federal government.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm not looking for secession or anything like that.
Right.
But the thing is, there is a precedence that goes along
Right.
with this.
Because
So
people are always saying, like, this is not a federal issue. This is a state issue. I always hear that all the time about, well, let us make that decision, not the not the government. Let our Tennessee representation decide what we need to do. And I'm like, okay, well, this is why we do what we do, and this is why we need things like you're talking about.
and that's what, even at the national level, and that's why this election is so important, because things that are coming out of the Trump campaign, doing away with the federal Department of Education, a lot of people would say, hey, that's a great idea, because basically you're paying for two platforms of governance for the
No,
same
because you got
effect.
the Tennessee. Oh, you got the
Yes,
federal and the state.
yes. So why not
Oh,
just kick that money down to the states and get rid of the bureaucrats? Because even in Warren County, we have to dance for the dollars, so to speak.
right. It is what it is.
But there are federal mandates that go along with money that we use
Right.
for programs that your students, my children, your children, are a part of here in Warren County.
Yeah.
So
I love that idea. Yeah, I think that's a smart thing because my thing is the federal government, they don't know how the testing's going on in Tennessee. They're worried about everybody's, and it gets to a point where are they just spinning the wheel and saying, okay, let's see what state's getting the best one now? And it's great I think it should stay within the state so it can be focused in on our people.
and that's why we need good representation at the school board level,
Mhm.
at the alderman level, for the county commissioners.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
now I'm going to take off this hat, if
Okay.
you don't mind,
Yeah.
and put on my conservative hat.
You may.
And speaking of school board,
Okay.
on Tuesday, October 22nd, at the Warren County Middle School cafeteria at 6 o'clock,
Next Tuesday.
the Warren County Republican Party will be hosting their monthly meeting. Now, a lot of you might say, don't you guys generally have your monthly meeting on Mondays? Normally we do,
Yeah.
but it always coincides or runs into the school board meetings. So for the month of October, this month on October 22nd, that Tuesday, we're going to host our meeting because we have two special guests. We have Mr. Matt Brown and Mr. Jarvis Johnson, and they're going to address the audience, talk about what the agenda is for the school board, what the future looking
That's
out.
great.
So I don't care if you're a conservative or liberal or anywhere in between. If you have children in the Warren County school system, I would recommend that you come to this meeting
That'd be
so you can
awesome.
get an idea of what's going on. Of course, we're having a chili supper, and it's $10 for adults, but kids eat free.
Yeah.
So for $10, if you got 3 kids and it's a family of 4, that's
Yeah.
not bad.
That's not bad.
So we want to encourage the community to please come out October 22nd, Tuesday, 6 o'clock at the Warren County Middle School cafeteria.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so,
And do you park in the back parking? Where do you park?
you will probably what they call the teachers parking lot.
Okay.
That's the one where the school buses come in.
And where the football people, where they get the special
Yes,
parking.
and you'll see, yes, the special parking.
I call this special parking.
Oh yes.
Yes.
We have special parking.
You do. You do at the football games. It's VIP parking.
Oh, hey, that's great if it works for them. but yeah, we're excited to have these guys
Yeah.
to shift our meeting from its normal Monday to a Tuesday to accommodate them, because we really need to know what's
And
going on in
then
the school system.
keeping on your hat, there's two other things happening, and I was telling her I was going to promote it. Oh, she sent it to me, and I think I might have already missed it. But when the November 5th hits, uh, the Republican Party is going to have a special watch party.
Yes.
I'm trying to look it up right quick.
All right.
You should know it.
Yes, I do.
As I'm trying to pronounce her name right now and spell it. There it goes. I found it.
Oh.
And of course it's gone.
No, that's all right. Let's Lanisa Bell, our county chair of the Republican Party, and she is along with the board and all the conservatives. We are so excited for those that know about this. But on November 5th, starting at 6 o'clock at the historic Park Theater, we're going to be hosting an election watch party.
Yes, you are.
And oh my goodness, so many things are coming together. We're gathering sponsorship for this thing. But listen, no matter who wins, we're going to have a new president.
Yeah, and that's
Hopefully
exciting. It's exciting to see who the new one, because again, I'll say it this way: if it was Trump and Biden at the time, it wouldn't have been a new president if Biden won. So it'd be like, But now we don't know who it's gonna be because Biden's out. So it's like, okay, well, who's gonna win? So why don't we all get together? I mean, if even anybody could be welcome to come to this watch party.
Anybody and everybody is welcome, because we are Warren County. Regardless who wins or who loses, we still have to work together. And so I'm grateful for this opportunity to talk about this. And there's going to be singing, music.
Y'all are doing a whole event with this.
Now, it's a free event, but concessions will be sold through Park Theater. So if you didn't get a chance to grab a hot dog or some nachos, there should be something there for you through the Park Theater. But we're so excited, and we want to invite the whole community to come out. Please plan to celebrate your election night with us. We're running from 6 to 9, but if we have to carry over just a little, we just got to make sure that Joe Harvey's able to close the place down and go and get some.
Because when it comes to the election, and I will say this, going back to talking about the election, one thing that I take very prideful, and I'm so grateful for Susie and them, is they triple check, fourth check, fifth, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes certain polls take longer to turn in the numbers. This has happened as I've worked at the radio. We have been on the I went one night, we were on there to almost past 10 one time, I remember. That happens. Now, the primary election, it got done real quick because, of course, it was a low voter turnout. But I'm going to say this now, with the high turnout that has happened with the early voting so far, knock on wood, we might have longer than 9 o'clock just to make sure. Because this is I always call it's the big one. We are going to get a new president to represent our country. And so they want to make sure the count's right. And that's why it's going to take just a little bit longer. So we just need to be patient and just, let everybody do what they do. Because one thing I do know, we talk about this all the time, that we as Tennesseans take pride in is our voting system and our election commission's office people. We are one of 3 or the number 1 in the state that has the honorary, I can't even remember what she called it now. Susie was telling me again yesterday.
Well, we are recognized as having one of the most
I can't remember the word.
We have a system with high integrity.
Yeah.
And so, and that's one of the great things.
Yeah.
We've got, now I'm going to brag on these 2 gentlemen. We've got Mr. Rick Hayes and we've got Mr. Roy McDaniel. And these are our machine operators. These are the guys on top. And these guys know these things inside and out. And I went through the training a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they made it. And these things are so easy. So the nice thing is
easy.
They hold an accountability standard. And so McMinnville, for Warren County, we should be wrapping it up fairly soon, because these things are so accurate and so precise. We can get the counts just like that and then get those back to the election commission. So you got to remember all the precincts that will be coming in at one time. So we'll take just a minute to process all these things. But those guys do a wonderful job with the election machines and making sure that they're running in tip-top shape. And if there's any and no world is perfect, but if there's anything that happens, these guys are on top of it, and they have people, and they've trained their people well. So please, the only thing that I would recommend is that everybody make sure on the front end that their registration as far as on their licenses, and if you have your voting registration cards, bring those. This is something to be celebrated. So this is, and make sure that you put your
I did all day yesterday, my little sticker. They're like, oh, you voted? And then they're like, oh, it started? I go, yes, girl. I saw somebody with a sticker after my show. I was like, I'm going to vote.
Hey, would it be okay if people, after they vote, get their sticker, take a selfie, and tag you in it, or tag the
and then the one that gets the most likes, or the one I just draw out, I guess I can give them a free meal somewhere. Because I know somebody that will do it off the top of my head. I'm not going to say his name in case he tells me no. He never tells me no. But yes, we could do that. Do it on Warren first. Let me know that you voted. And also, too, when you post that, whether it's on your page or my page, and you tag 5 of your friends.
Yes.
And then that is going to start a thread of chaos in a good way. And so that's what I always have to say. And again, is there anything we haven't mentioned yet?
Oh, well, I just wanted to piggyback on the election watch party. It's a great opportunity for people to get together, but we're going to have ministers in the community praying. We're going to have groups offering song, and then we're going to be time, but we're going to be praying for this community. So most importantly, we covet your prayers. We would ask for you to pray for this event, to let people know, and please make plans to going. So October 22nd, we've got the chili supper with our school board representatives.
I love that. I want to come.
November 5th, we got the election watch party. And then let me take off this hat.
Oh, I put it on already. I already put it in. Look at that on the sweet second. Go ahead.
So take that hat off.
Take another hat off.
All right. Woo! Now, the weekend of the 25th, 26th, and 27th, Warren Arts is hosting Young Frankenstein at the Park Theater, and that's going to be exciting. Carter Cantrell's our lead, playing Dr. Victor Frankenstein.
Okay.
And that'll be a really great show. So we've got that coming up. And then in November, we've got Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, Junior. I love it.
And Miss Allie Morton and Miss Kennette Dixon. Those ladies have been working extremely hard, and the young people have been working extremely hard. I got to interrupt one of their practices the other day, and they were getting at it. So really excited to see what they do
and how it all turns
out. But it's a great chance. For those 2 shows that we've got coming up, really excited about those.
I love that. He's got a man of many hats, and he's also Santa Claus.
Just saying that's gonna be,
and that's at the Park Theater as well.
Yes.
Sing along with Santa.
Yes, actually, we're planning on doing 2 shows on December 14th. That's second Saturday. So if you're going to support businesses downtown on second Saturday, December 14th, we're going to have a 3:00 show and a 6:00 show.
Oh, it's perfect.
Please bring your children. I think the tickets are only $5.
Yeah, it's not much.
No, but afterwards you get to come take your picture with Santa. Santa's going to meet and greet everybody that he can. And so really excited about that. That's going on. And then we're going to have school shows starting December 9th to the 11th. So that'll be during the day. So that's the third big thing that Warren Arts has. And I'm running that through Warren Arts. If there's any other things outside, I'll be at the detention, and I'll be lots of other places over. And I'm so thankful for Miss Sheila Fan.
I know. She had to step out for just a minute. She had to tell me bye. But, and I say this like while Brian's here. If you are a business or an organization that needs to get your information and the word out about something, because if it is important to you, it's important to us here at Warren First. Call me at 931-305-0869. I know I'm almost losing my voice, but I have to do a shameless plug this morning. This morning I went to the Vanilla Bean. I did have no voice this morning. Sheila can contest. The ladies there made me either it's called a medicine bomb or a medicine ball. And I'm starting to talk again. So I'm going to be coming back, Sally and y'all, to get me another one of those because it was delicious. But with that said, again, if there's something that's going on that's important to you guys, it really is important to me. And trying to get as much information out as I can to you, to the community. And like while he's here, because he's the one that gave me this idea, because he wanted to do this at one point in time. Mark your calendars for it's the times to be announced. But November the 25th, which is the Thanksgiving break, I believe, for the schools. I'm partnering up with the Chamber of Commerce to do a two-part deal, and it's gonna be called the Community Calendar Kickoff Party.
Yes.
And what that is if you are the El Capitan of your organization, your business, whatever you do that has events throughout the year of 2025, if you already know the date, this is what that event is all about. So we can get that on the calendar ahead of time. Now, I know somebody's sitting there saying, well, Kelly, we don't know until it like gets right close to it. That's okay. These are for the people that already know this is in stone. It's set in stone. So if that last minute person like myself comes up with a date, like say next week, I wanted to do an election thing for people. I can look at that calendar and be like, gosh, there's already 5 events that day. No, not doing it. You know, that's what this is for. Because I remember when I was really little, and I have to say elementary and middle school, every year at the end of the year in November, people got together and it was like 7 or 15 of them. And I was with my mom, and we would go to the chamber with Lee Croissant. And I remember her like it was yesterday. And they hosted this calendar kickoff party. And I'm like, we need to bring it back. So, with the help of Brian and the Chamber of Commerce and myself, we are going to be doing a community kickoff calendar party on November the 25th. And we have a lot of fun stuff in store, not just talking about calendar dates, but there may possibly be getting somebody to do a luncheon that can help out nonprofits with grant writing stuff. Because we want, again, it's all about helping the community.
Now, and that's a question I get asked a lot: is how do you write grants? Well, I really don't know. We've
I
been
don't
very
either.
blessed at Warren Arts to have people like Sherry Denning, who
Oh,
is wonderful.
gosh.
Oh, you
She's
talk about
amazing.
a workhorse.
Mhm.
She does not know when to stop, and we've been very blessed to have her
Yeah.
write a lot of the grants. And I'll tell you, another great organization that we have here in Warren County is the Power of 100.
We do.
What a great organization, and they actually fund a lot of these nonprofits,
They do.
and these nonprofits look forward to being part of these groups. So
Yeah.
thank you, Power of 100. You women do such a wonderful
Yeah, you
job
do.
and take such an interest in our community. If it weren't for you, uh, groups like Warren Arts and a lot of groups would be
Would not be where they're at today.
Exactly.
And like you said, the whole point of, continuing on our community growth is helping one another.
Yes.
Going shop local, buy local, eat local, travel local. Staycations are a thing. They're a thing. And if you need to know where to go on a staycation, you can call me anytime, because I did a whole seminar on it a few weeks ago. But again, we have so many amazing things here in our home, whether it be Fall Creek Falls, Burgess Falls, Rock Island State Park, just to name a few on that, on our nature stuff that we own. We even have close walking trails here in the closer of the community if you didn't want to travel far out. We have several things that you can do in this town, and it's endless. And I tell you, if I hear when I hear people say there's nothing to do, that's a cuss word to me. Like, don't talk ugly.
Them's fighting words.
Those are. They are. And so I always try to tell people where to go, and like I ask them like, and it's so great. Like when I did that second Saturday event for the Northgate or North Spring Street ladies, I ran into 4 people that came from out of town because they either saw the post or heard about it, or they heard about Second Saturday, and they were like, we're actually fixing to move to a town nearby, like an hour away, and we just wanted to see what the other communities were like, so we knew. And I was telling them all about our community, and then they even said it, like this one lady said in this meeting we had, that your town reminds me of a Hallmark movie. And I was like, okay.
Sometimes the drama is like Hallmark people.
It's sometimes. I wish it was a little bit cleaner than Hallmark, but sure. So, but they said the thing about it was the hospitality and the Southern charm, and everybody. And it's like I already knew they weren't from there. Let me tell you that. And I went up and I'm like, "Hi, my name's Kelly. I'm over here." And I go, "Where y'all from?" And they're like, "You already knew." And they said, "You don't know how many people have come up to us and helped us pick places to go eat, to go shop, and to stay." It's again, that's why I love my community.
Yes.
I'm just one person of 100 that make up this great place that can tell, and it's just a full circler. I love it.
Oh, the Southern hospitality is great.
Mhm.
It's from our businesses. You look at a Graves Family Pharmacy.
Yeah.
You walk in there, and it's homemade products. There's so many things
Yes.
there.
Daylilies Nurseries are the ones got the wax. I
The
have to
bulbs.
brag on
Oh, they're
those.
awesome.
They're the easiest gift to give anybody, and they're endless. You don't have to water them.
If you don't know what to give somebody,
Get that
go
daylily.
over to Graves Pharmacy and get one of those wax sealed bulbs. They're incredible, and everybody that I've ever given it to is like, "Oh my goodness, this is awesome!"
Yes.
So it makes a great gift to give.
Mhm.
Another thing, please plan on coming here to Homes and the
Yes.
2 stores with Miss Nancy and Miss Sheila. You can get some. I'm seeing some great stuff and some stuff that you won't be able to get anyplace else here.
And this table we're using is on sale right now for $200.
Oh,
And it seats 6 or 8 or something. 6. Table is 6. I'm telling you, solid wood. Come check it out.
Looks like a good poker playing table.
It does, don't it? Like, where the pool table used to be on it and it could turn into a poker table? That's what I remember
I'm
back in the
expecting
day.
a dealer on the other side. I wouldn't do well against Kelly.
Again, Vanna White here and saying, "This rustic table looks like a great poker table. Got some good wood, some history in it." I'm just saying.
Now, jumping that, I'd be remiss. Now, First Baptist Church, they're having a special event
Oh,
coming up too.
okay.
Sorry, here I'm talking about poker, and now I'm
Hey, that's my
switching
show is
gears.
transparent.
I think the
Sorry.
Lord is letting me know something here. Now, First Baptist Church on November 3rd, they are having their it's an area wide service, I guess.
Okay.
Where last year I think they did it. Maybe they did it at the park. I know they did it at Milner Recreation
I
Center one
think it
time.
was the park.
But now this year, November 3rd, it's going to be at the Park Theater. So
Okay.
I wanted to make a
So
special
what
shout out
is
to
it?
John. They're having a area wide worship service. So
Oh.
they had it at Milner, I guess, at one point in time, and they're having it on November 3rd at the park. And I told my good friend John
Okay.
Templeton that I'd definitely give them a shout out
Yes,
about
please
that
do.
because that's a great opportunity for folks who may not know a lot about First Baptist Church, and may not be comfortable going
Yeah.
into a church.
Or may not know the Lord and you want to get to know him.
So
I'm just saying.
So it's a great opportunity for them to come in and
Yeah.
worship and see the things. And for people who have ever performed on the stage at the Park Theater,
Yeah.
my goodness, we're blessed to have such a wonderful place to be able to have great shows. I mean, some of the shows that have come through here recently, and then we've got this Jordan Winton magic show that's
Oh, yes, which of course Jordan Winton, you can see it there. You can see him at Rigor Mortis.
Oh, it's going to be at Rigor Mortis?
No, you can see it at the Park Theater, but he's also got shows at Rigor Mortis.
Awesome.
Yeah, I won't go in there. I don't like getting scared. I hate jump scares. I will punch you. I'm going to already put that out there. If somebody does a jump scare on me ever, you get punched. I don't know where at, but you do. Halloween's the worst for me.
So, Kelly, where are you going to be this weekend?
This weekend, I'm going to be at home doing a pumpkin patch day, and I'm not going to say where my house location is. But my husband knows very firsthand not to mess with me.
Oh, now when you say pumpkin patch, are you going to Cedarwood? Or
no, we grow pumpkins at Randall Walker Farms. So if you want a pumpkin or straw, which we call it straw because straw is not what the cows can eat.
So it's not hay.
It's not hay. It's straw, but it's in a bale. Okay. It's in a straw bale, and we got corn stalks, straw, pumpkins, gourds. So if you need some really good, healthy, long-lasting pumpkins, you go to Randall Walker Farms. That's my family's business out there, and we have all behind my house is the pumpkin fields.
Oh.
And so we took some pictures just the other day with Jacqueline Davis, a photographer here in town, to do some family shots out there. And before I forget, because I do want to piggyback on your Park Theater thing, I want to give a shout out to the Park Theater celebrating their birthday today, 85 years old.
Yes.
And they are going to be doing open house, a free event, open house. They're going to play The Wizard of Oz because that is also celebrating 85 years of the movie being in. And they're going to do a tour of the house and all of the Park Theater. And again, just to know the history of the Park Theater, you need to go and see it. Because when you walk in and you see the original is it they're called medallions
on the walls?
Yes. Yeah, the original medallions, the seats, you just walk in there and you're like, oh my gosh, I've I can feel the history in this place and the acoustics in there because I have been very fortunate enough, as well as you probably have, to sing in there. You don't have to have a microphone to sound amazing in there. I'm telling you. Um, but go and check them out. We have so many things going on this weekend. You need to check out my newsletter because my voice is about gone again. But the newsletter has all the events going on between now and the end of the month. Also on Facebook and Instagram, you can see it as well. I've pinned it to the top. We also have all the trunk or treats and the trail of treats that are going on, which there is a ton, and they start next week. So if you want to know where to go on my post, share it, like it, love it. And speaking of one trunk or treat or trail of treats, the Plaza is going to be doing theirs on, I believe, the 31st here at 5 o'clock. Thank you, Allison. And leaving on that note, if you're looking for a last minute Halloween costume, they got a bin over here of gently used costumes for free here at the home store number 2 at the Plaza. So come and check that out. And when you find your free Halloween costume, look at all the other awesome stuff that they have. It's really neat. And I mean, I'm seeing the Stein glasses. Those are neat.
Yes.
The artwork on those are legit. They ain't fake.
Mm-hmm.
But before we go, is there anything you need to say?
Oh no! Shout out to Bone Cave Fire Department. We're gonna go do the haunted trail at some point in time and buy some hot dogs from our good friends the Deplorables over there.
Oh yeah, it's always a good time with them.
And so everybody's getting into the Halloween spirit. Mm-hmm. We'll be doing some storytelling at on Halloween afternoon during the Rotary Club's meeting.
What time?
12 noon. So now
are we storytelling? Seriously?
Oh, well, I'll be there, but I'm not actually going to be there. It's my alter ego.
Oh!
Dr. Atticus Blackheart.
Ooh, if you need one of those old masks, those I got you one, bro.
All right.
My son just got one in. He wanted to do a cosplay thing. Don't ask. But that's cool. Okay. Now if I can't get Mr. Haley to give me scary stories, you can.
Oh, Mr. Haley's great. And speaking of Jimmy Haley, and
there's so much that goes on. It's really like I could talk all day if I need to.
Again, that meeting that Miss Sheila talked about earlier, November 9th at the First United Methodist Church, Ryan Heatherly, Jimmy Haley, even Matt Campbell and a bunch of the folks
people
that do so much. They took care of so many people over this past winter. And that's just such a great outreach. If there's anybody who wants to get involved in this, please make sure to attend that and make sure to support groups like H.O.M.E and the other groups locally that because it's getting colder. As everybody,
I will say this: if you want to stop a problem, you have to be a part of the solution.
Yes,
that's tough. That's tough spill or thing to spill, but it's truth. Don't talk about it and hate on it. Fix it. If you don't like what you see, fix it. Yeah. And and that's it. And it takes all of us to make that happen. But anything else?
Kelly, thank you for having me today.
I always love having Brian in here. The only person I'm missing now is Melody.
Yes.
But I know she's feeling a little under the weather, so that's why she couldn't come today. I got her, I dragged her out yesterday, and so, but again, today has been an amazing show as always. And again, if you or someone you know is in need of some, some publicity or need to talk about what's going on in the community for them or your business, you know my number, 931-305-0869. Take care. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, Warren County, keep it first. Oh, I love it, Brian.